Okay, so right now in this video, I'm going to clear out a lot of your confusion. We are going to see the project flow again, right? It's very important that you should understand how the Spring MVC flow is actually going through, right? How you're processing a request, how you're getting a response back, right? And I really can give you an assurance that all of your doubts that you have right now, that is going to be wiped out pretty soon, right? You just need to do coding by yourself. But before I'll give you a chance to do some hands-on, let's break all these things that we have right now. When I used to be a student, I had a lot of doubt whenever I did my first Spring MVC project. When my container object is getting initialized, I cannot see my container object, right? Where is the Spring container? During my Spring code days, I used to create my container objects just like application context, context equal to new class path XML application context, and I used to load my XML file right there. But here, how all these things are happening, I cannot see it, right? And a lot of questions like this, I'll try to answer it and I'll try to give my best so that you will have all your confusion clear, right? Okay, so let me ask you a question first, that when your dispatcher servlet is getting initialized. Okay, so in our project right now, if we'll go to web.xml file, here we are actually configuring our dispatcher servlet, right? And our dispatcher servlet name is dat front controller. Okay, so this particular dispatcher servlet will be initialized when this particular object, this particular class object, dispatcher servlet, when this particular class object will be created. This particular class object will be created during the server startup. Why? Because we have given this load on startup tag here and we are given a value called 1. So during our server startup, whenever we'll start our Tomcat, at that time only this particular class object will be initialized, right? Then what will happen? We'll see that. But first, let's try to copy this name, Control C, and let's try to run this particular project. Let's try to deploy this particular project on Tomcat. Okay, and right now it's not started. Let me close it and let me stop it actually. Let me do a clean. Okay, now it's cleaned properly, so nothing will be there in the cache. And right now I'll do run as, run on server, I'll do next, I'll do finish again. Hopefully my console will come this time. Yes. Okay, so now my server has been started successfully. I'll go to my server, I'll do a control F and I'll do find, and here actually my dispatcher servlet dat front controller is trying to get initialized, and here only my initialization is completed for my dispatcher servlet. Okay. Okay, so when dispatcher servlet is getting initialized, what is actually happening? Whenever the dispatcher servlet is getting initialized, it is actually looking for a particular file. Whatever my dispatcher servlet name is appended with a hyphen servlet.xml. For an example, if I'll go to my web.xml file, this is my dispatcher servlet name, dat-front controller. So my Spring framework, my framework will look for a particular file called dat-front controller-servlet.xml. So this is the file that I have created inside the web.inf directory, because my framework will look for this particular file under web.inf directory, and if it is not going to find this particular file, it is going to throw you an file not found exception. Okay, so what actually my framework is doing with this particular file? Okay, so right now whenever my dispatcher servlet is getting initialized, okay, here it is getting initialized, and when it is getting initialized, it is looking for this particular file, and once it's got that particular file, it is trying to create a container out of this particular file. And what kind of container it is trying to create? It is trying to create a container called WebApplicationContext. I know it's a new word. Okay, previously you heard about a container called application context, that is your core container. But right now we are dealing with a web application. Previously we used to create standalone application in our Spring Core course, right? Right now this is a web application. For web application, you have to deal with a container called web application context. But there is a good news. You do not have to create the web application context instance manually. For web application, you have to deal with a container called web application context. But there is a good news. You do not have to create the web application context instance manually. Just like you used to do during your Spring Core days, what you used to do, you need to create a container object manually. Application context equal to new class path XML application context, then provide the Spring configuration XML file in the constructor argument, and it will load the Spring XML file for you, and whatever the beans that you have configured over there inside your Spring Core container, which is application context, a container will be created for you, and inside the container all the objects will be created, right? Whatever the objects that you have configured in the Spring configuration file, those objects will be created inside a container called application context, correct? But here we are dealing with web application, right? So particularly here we'll be dealing with a container called web application context, right? So I want to show you that container. So what you'll do again Command-Shift-T and search for web application context, right? And this is the one web application context. Okay, now double click it. So you can see it. This is an interface. This is present inside or the Spring Framework.web.context package, right? So you can double click it. Okay, it's giving attach source because it's not finding the source. Again, we can do the same thing. Attach source, go to external location, external folder, and wherever you kept that source that you have downloaded, okay, open that up. So for me, I have this one probably, Spring Framework Master, probably. Open and click on OK. Now you should get your source code. Okay, so here is the class, web application context. Now we can see a very funny thing here. Your web application context is extending to application context. So your application context, all the feature of application context, the web application context container will get, and also it has some extra feature to handle all the things related to a web application. This particular container is designed, so it has some extra feature, and along with it has all the features of application context because it is extending to application context, right? So you can see this web application context is an interface. Application context is also an interface. You can see the size symbol here. So interface extends interface, right? Core Java concept. I don't want to get into it. Let me close this particular file and let me come back to this particular file called dad front controller. Cool. So I hope right now you understand that in a web application we do not have to create the application context object manually or the container object manually. The container object will be created by the dispatcher servlet. So the dispatcher servlet will create a web application context which is provided by the developer through this particular XML file called whatever your servlet name -servlet.xml. Okay, cool. So our dispatcher servlet will create a web application context from this particular file. Okay, so your dispatcher servlet created a web application context, and what object it is going to create right there. So if you see right now, when your dispatcher servlet will try to load this particular file, it is saying, okay, component scan. Okay, so now your dispatcher servlet knows that, okay, the developer want me to do a component scanning, so he's using annotation. It may be at component, it may be at controller. So now it is going to look for this particular package called com.home.controllers. Your framework will go here and it will search in every class. If any classes has a annotation called at component or at controller, the framework will create the object for it, right? For an example, the bro controller, it has a at controller annotation. This class has a at controller annotation. Like that, the mom controller, this class has a at controller annotation. So all this class right now will be registered with your web application context container. Is it clear? All your class object will be created inside that container, or it will be registered inside that container. The way you want to say it, just try to remember these things, okay? Cool. Right now what will happen? Let's say right now I'm going to my web browser and I'm hitting something /home.com/sugar, okay, and I'll do enter. Now I'm getting this, okay, here is your sugar. So how this is happening? So all your controllers right now is registered with your web application context or with your dispatcher servlet. All these particular classes have been registered. So right now, whenever you are doing home./home.com, first the request is coming to your dispatcher servlet because this is the URL mapping that we have given /home.com. Now it matches with the URL pattern /home.com. So this particular dispatcher servlet, that hyphen front controller, this particular dispatcher servlet handles that request, okay? So once it handles this particular request, now it will look for this particular URL pattern /sugar. Now this dispatcher servlet, okay, now this dat front controller dispatcher servlet will try to resolve this particular request /sugar. So what this particular dispatcher servlet will do, it has already a container. Inside that container, it has already two classes, two controller classes registered. These are the two controller classes which is being registered inside the dispatcher servlet. One is mom controller, one is bro controller. So right now the dispatcher servlet is going to scan, okay, all this handler method. These methods are called handler method. Your controller is called as handler, okay. These methods are called handler methods. It's going to check with this pattern /cricketbat. Okay, each /cricketbat is matching with /sugar. No, it is not matching. Then it will go to mom controller. Now it is going to check, okay, is this handler method or URL pattern /sugar is matched with the incoming URL request pattern? Yes, this is /sugar and it has the /sugar. Now this matches. Now let me execute this particular method, okay, and once this particular method will be executed, now whatever it is returning right now, we are sending it back directly to the browser. How we are sending it back directly to the browser? Because we are using at response body. Once you use at response body, what will happen? Once you use at response body, it will be written with the HTTP response body, right? Once that is done, okay, so whenever actually you are hitting this URL, you are getting this on your browser, because this is what your handler method is returning. This is what your handler method, that means this is what this particular method is returning, okay. So this particular method is getting executed because of this request mapping right here, okay. So here, okay, so is it clear? If it is clear, just let me know in the comment section that what do you mean by a web application context. When the container object or when web application container object will be created, okay, just let me know in the comment section, okay. And if you are okay with it, then you are mastering Spring MVC pretty well. Okay, cool. So right now that's it. Okay, so in this class I can see some warning. Why it is giving me a warning? Because this import we are not using. Okay, this import belongs to add component, and add component we are not using here, so that's why it is giving me a warning. I'll give you a shortcut here. Whenever you see there are some imports like this which have been not used, just remove it. So how to remove the unused import? Just use a shortcut called command shift O. Hit it and that will go away. You can see that is disappeared, right? You can use the shortcut in the Windows called control shift O, or in the Mac use it command shift O. Okay, good. So right now we are good with the theory. So I hope so. So see you in the next lesson.